Well, Trent's going to be in it when he's fit. Kyle Walker's come back. Jed Spence has to be.
Carl Walker.
I'm surprised you didn't say Anya.
Who did you say, Carl Walker or
Reece James? You've tried to get everybody else in for us.
He's not been fit. He's not played enough football, in my opinion, to be in this.
Thomas Tuchel won't worry about being fit.
Clearly
all
doesn't
he will worry about, when it comes to push comes to shove, when he gets to the World Cup, people like Reece James, if he gets him on the pitch and he's fit, he plays.
Not in the slightest, Simon, and that's why it was a surprise. Nine appearances for Aston Villa. You can go back to before Christmas. Early on in December, he'd played for Manchester United. And that's why, for me, you have to do it more consistently. He's not produced any form.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Football Talk. If you are new here on this channel, please kindly do your best and subscribe to this channel, because here we give you the latest on football. Today we are going to talk about Thomas Tuchel. Now we know that Thomas Tuchel is now English national team coach, and he has made his first squad. You know, England are going to play against Albania on Friday, and there are certain players that he has called. And there are three players. I'm talking about Reece James, Rushford, Jordan Henderson. He has named them in the squad. And when you go to UK, most of the channels or Sky Sports, Talk Sports, they are all talking about these three players. Do you think they deserve to be in the squad at this moment? We all know them. Jordan Henderson moved from Liverpool to Saudi Pro League, and because of personal issue, now he's playing for Ajax. Same applies to Rushford. He was in Manchester United. He was not having a playing time, having a problem with their head coach Ruben Amorim. So he moved to Aston Villa. He has now played 9 matches, 4 assists without scoring in a goal as a striker or as a winger. Reece James has also been injured for a while. Sometimes he play 2 matches, 1 match, he get injured again and he goes back. For now, he has played only 10 matches for Chelsea this season, and Thomas Tuchel has called them in the national team. He has named them into the national team squad. Do you think they deserve to be in the squad, or they don't deserve to be in the squad at this moment, that they don't have enough playing time? We go straight to Sky Sports and we will listen to what most of the pundit has said about these 3 players. So without wasting much time, let's go and listen to what they really said about the squad, or these 3 players. I mean, Reece James, Rushford and Jordan Henderson. Don't forget to subscribe and share and comment. Thank you so much.
Today, Thomas Tuchel named his first England squad because we have an international break coming up next weekend. The World Cup qualifiers get underway. England against Albania is their opening qualifier at Wembley on Friday night. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the squad, Dorse, when you saw that squad announced yesterday, Thomas Tuchel's first as the new England head coach, be honest, what was your initial reaction?
Baffled, disbelief, surprised that players that, you know, there was players that you could probably put in a bracket of contenders, your Morgan Gibbs-White, your Elliot Andersons, your Callum Hudson-Odoi. You could put Jacob Murphy into that bracket, and I'm looking, and Jed Spence, and people say, oh, 2-year-old clubs, you've named players from there. No, it's not about me talking about that. I'm talking about players who are in form. And Morgan Gibbs-White was a tick before the squad had come out. I didn't even think he was a contender. He was in it for me. He was in the last squad under Lee Carsley, and he's gone back to all players, and he's not gone on form. He's gone on reputation, if you can say that. And you can put Marcus Rashford into that bracket, Reece James, Jordan Henderson, and the message that it sends out to the players that are in form is, what do I have to do to get into this England squad? And for me, Morgan Gibbs-White must have been devastated, thinking, what do I have to do to get in Thomas Tuchel's first squad. And that is, well, you all look, there had been excitement around the England players. New manager, first squad, am I in it? And I was in disbelief. I was flabbergasted.
I agree with some of the players, I do. But I don't know what everybody expected. He's got 18-month contract. He ain't got time to put kids in.
This is about the now, isn't it?
Exactly. He's got to the World Cup to win the World Cup. He needs to win the World Cup. He ain't got time, and this is where I can't work out what the FA have done. They should have said, here's a 4 or 5 year contract, here's the plan, you've got 2 World Cups and a European Championships. Then you can start having a look at youngsters. He's got to start picking people like Jordan Henderson, because he knows what he's going to get from Jordan Henderson.
So is what he's doing, because he was keen at the press conference yesterday to talk about the fact between now and the World Cup, I think he's got 6 camps in England players, I think 60 days in total, in order to get his message across, get the team playing in the way that he wants. And he talked about reflecting the way the Premier League teams play, and with that intensity as well. He needs some familiar heads in there, which means some of the younger players, for now at least, end up on the periphery.
Yeah, 100%, and that's because he hasn't got time. You know, it'd be better to go in and go, right, you know, Gibbs White, Lewis Skelly, who's got in, and Livramento and people like that. You know, you put them in, and then by the time that you go to this World Cup and you take half of them and half of the usual squad, and then by the time the next Euros and things come round, you're talking about these kids who now won't be kids, and they'll have 50, 60, 70 caps between them. You know, every other country does it. You know, Germany have a nightmare. Scrap it, start again. France, scrap it, start again. Italy, start again.
Does that come from the arrogance of
we don't
FA
start again.
Or England?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if we expected to win. I think we're just happy to get as far as we can.
I mean,
I don't think we are anymore, are we, Merce? Given what we've done under Southgate.
Because of where they've got to, though, it's like taking that next step.
We're saying the next step, but he ain't going to get. He hasn't got the time. You know, he hasn't got the time. No disrespect to Dan Burn. Great, fair play to him. He's going to be 34 next year, or 33, 34. You know,
well, he's 32 at the moment.
Yeah, Jordan Henderson's going to be 36 by the time that, you know, in June he's 36 next June.
Well, Harry Kane's going to be nearly 35 come the World Cup.
Exactly. I mean, Harry Kane can play till he wants. You know, in my opinion, he's top drawer and he plays a certain way. But when you're a centre midfield player, you need to have legs about you.
Let's break it down in terms of who he's gone for. I don't think there's really any big discussion to be had over the keepers, but these are the keepers that he's gone for. Dean Henderson, Jordan Pickford, of course, Aaron Ramsdale.
Why do you need 4 goalies?
And James Trafford of Burnley. But at the same time, let's, Dorse, move on to one of the areas of contention, and that's defence and the players that are in.
What?
Now, one player that immediately leapt out, obviously we'll talk about Dan Burn, Mercer's touched on him already, but you look at someone like Reece James. Yeah. He only came back in October. 13 appearances so far this season. So if you're looking at players there on merit and form, or coming back to what Mercer said, you're looking for experience, why is he in there?
Because he was with him at Chelsea. Has to be. Has to be. Has to be. He's played 10 games.
He's the best. He's the best.
Yeah, when he's fit.
But
look at the minutes he's played.
But every time he's fit, you pick your best. He's the best.
Yeah, but is he going to be there in 18 months? He's played 10 games this season.
Do any of us know where we're going to be in 18 months' time? Do you know what I mean?
His appearances have not been enough to get in that England squad, in my opinion. I'm not having it.
But
if he's fit and plays
not having him.
No, I'm not having it at the moment that he's in that squad.
So who'd you take?
Well, Trent's going to be in it when he's fit. Kyle Walker's come back. Jed Spence has to be.
Kyle Walker.
I'm surprised you didn't say Anya.
Who'd you take, Kyle Walker or Reece
James?
You've tried to get everybody else in for us.
He's not been fit. He's not played enough football, in my opinion, to be in this squad.
Thomas Tuchel won't worry about being fit.
He clearly
All
doesn't
he will worry about, when it comes to push comes to shove, when he gets to the World Cup, people like Reece James, if he gets someone on the pitch and he's fit, he plays. He's the best. He's the best. In his position, in my opinion, in his position.
I wouldn't disagree with that, Merce. I wouldn't disagree when he's fit, but it's just his minutes to time. The message that it must send out to the other players out there going, well, I'm playing well. All right, he'll put other players in.
But there ain't in it. I mean, Kyle Walker's in it.
Jed Spence, would you not think, I'll have a look at Jed Spence? What do you have to do?
What's your take on Dan Burn? Because you can look at it 2 ways. It's come very late, 32 years of age. Most was mentioning his age, but for players who start out non-league like he did with Darlington all those years ago, it gives hope to them. Is he there, though, on merit for you, Dorse?
Good luck to him. Who else have we got? You know, John Stones is out, Harry Maguire's out. I don't think we're blessed with English centre-halves at this moment in time. You could have put Branthwaite. Haywood Bellis was in the last squad and got a cap. Has he done enough? No. He's playing at Southampton. There's not a debate around that goes, well, he should be in. we're not blessed with English centre halves at this moment in time. We haven't been for numerous years. John Stones is your main player. Could you put Ben White in there? He's been injured. So good luck to Dan Burn. I mean, he's been to Yeovil. He's had a fair old journey to get to this England squad. He's playing for Newcastle week in, week out. Is there anyone else out there? And that's my argument to say, is he there on form? Yes, he is. But would you have been fit if Maguire, Stones were there? Probably not.
But they're not there, so he has to call up somebody. Right, let's get back to it. What about Steve Clark's Scotland squad? Unbelievable, eh?
Have they got a game?
Two young boys as well.
Have they got a game?
Greece, mate, Greece.
Oh, have they?
Yeah. 2 games against
Listen,
Greece.
you'll have your moment in a short while. Mercer, I want to come to you on Miles Lewis Skelly, because obviously we know about Lewis Hall. He's out of the League Cup final tomorrow. May come back right at the end of the season, but it's not looking good for him as well. Miles Lewis Skelly, 18 years of age, only got his debut this season. Is he ready for international football?
Who knows until they play. Some people, it's like a duck to water, and some people struggle, and it's difficult for him. But I think he deserves it. I think him and Livramenti, I think, I'm looking for them, I think they're very good, talented fullbacks that will go on and hopefully get 50, 60, 70 caps. I mean, I don't see Lewis Skelly and Livramenti being in the squad and not going on to get 50 or 60 caps if they look after themselves. Dan Burn's not going to get 50 or 60 caps. Do you know what I mean? He's not going to. It's just fact. He's too old to get that many now. But I like the choice of these two. I do like them. And then, you've got Reece James in there, who's got the experience. If he's fit, Reece James plays. But, but at the moment, I would have took Reece James. And I know because Thomas Tuchel played under him, but he knows what he's like. And sometimes that works as your advantage. You get loads of managers that like players and they take them everywhere they ever go. And I think that's the thing with Reece James. But if they can get Reece James fit, and I think it's a confidence booster for Reece James as well, to get put in the England squad. I think, he ain't been in for a while. He got left out the Euros. So for me, I like that one. But
it's surely a club's responsibility to boost a player's confidence, not the international manager.
Oh, no, I mean, we're talking different levels now. Club, and then you're playing for your country. Your country's a lot different to playing for your club. Especially when everybody will think that England have got a chance of winning the World Cup. You want to be in it. You want to be one of them players who might, ain't like before. Over the years, we've just turned up at tournaments. You go to tournaments now and you think, England have got a chance. I don't. If I'm being honest, I don't give us a chance in this tournament. I've been bullish on the last 3 or 4 tournaments, but I do not see it in this tournament at all.
Well, let's have a look at the midfield, because the player who's been commanding the most column inches since Thomas Tuchel named that first squad yesterday was a certain Jordan Henderson. He's going to be 35 in June, 81 caps so far. He's made 34 appearances for Ajax this season. He had that disappointing and ultimately not successful spell in Saudi Arabia after leaving Liverpool. What, for you, looking on at this, Boydie, is Tuchel's thinking in bringing Henderson back into the fold?
Experience. You can't buy it. Do I think Jordan Henderson will start? No. You look at it'll probably be Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham, you'd imagine, as a midfield two for England.
So is it what he brings around the camps, what he brings around the dressing room?
100%.
As much as what he made on the pitch?
In and around. I mean, we've all been there international when you're away for a period of time. You need people who are going to turn up and do things properly. And Jordan Henderson has done that throughout his career. You know what you're going to get. There's not going to be... There's obviously noise around it in terms of, why has he been picked and blah, 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 blah. But if for example, there's other ones picked in there, comes the England game, and I'm not saying that Thomas Tuchel will be swayed by this, but he's got to play this one. He knows.
But why not put him in as maybe a young member of the coaching staff, rather than lose another place to one of the younger players, like a Morgan Gibbs-White, like an Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton?
He's still playing football with one of the biggest clubs in the world, in Ajax. So I don't think you can. I don't think it's
only started 2 of their last 8, though.
But I don't think it's suspended for during the week. I don't think it's down to Thomas Tuchel to retire him as such. In terms of as you're saying, join him in the coaching staff. I mean, he might not want to do coaching. But for what he can bring, and there is experience around the training ground, training properly every single day, every time you go, setting the standards. And there was, when you go back to before under Lee Carrs, there was people saying, England need experience. He's picked experience, and people are still moaning. You can't win. You cannot win.
Let's have a look at the forwards now, Dorse, because inevitably one name stands out in terms of how much has been talked about this player, how much has been written because of the backdrop to this story, and that is that Marcus Rashford is back in the England fold. He's made that loan move to Aston Villa. I mean, so far, no goals, but he has produced 4 assists so far. When you saw his name in that squad, what was your initial reaction?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised, I'll be honest, because and I've always been a big fan of Marcus Rashford. I've sat on here and tried to defend him and look back to probably 2 or 3 years ago what he did, scoring all the goals. And then we're starting to see a glimpse of Marcus Rashford, what his strengths are, running at defenders, making assists.
It's not a long enough run of form.
Not for me, not in the slightest, Simon, and that's why it was a surprise. Nine appearances for Aston Villa. You can go back to before Christmas, early on in December, he'd played for Manchester United, and that's why for me, you have to do it more consistently. He's not produced any form or any glimpses of this in the previous 2 years. So yeah, big surprise for me, and that's for the other players. I look at them, and we touched on earlier. It's what message and how does that make you feel when you are putting performances a Morgan Gibbs-White, a Callum Hudson-Odoi, and Elliot Anderson, and I know Thomas Tuchel spoke about, all right, some players are away with the 21s, Adam Wharton, Elliot, we can move them up. It's not about that. It's a first squad. He's set a precedent and gone, this is my squad. This must be his best squad that he thinks. And the other players must be like, now, that disbelief of, wow, I'm performing. And Callum Hudson was one for me that I certainly would have looked at. Marcus Rashford, I'm glad to see him back playing football with a smile on his face and doing something that we've seen in previous years. But for the last 2 years, he hasn't performed that. So in 9 games and 9 appearances, you're saying it's good enough to get back in the England squad. Not for me.
It's coming back to what you said about Reece James and that confidence boost of being back in the international fold. Would you make the same argument for Rashford, and that's why he's there?
Maybe. Again, it goes back to he's proven. You know, he hasn't got to sit there and pick a squad and sit there in the dugout and think, I hope this works. I hope he can handle the international football. He's been there. He's done it. Yep. Reece James has done it. You know, Rashford's done it. You know, Henderson's done it, as it's saying, but I just don't see Henderson playing. But, you know, he's still in the squad. But I'm definitely with Dawes on Gibbs-White. I mean, he has been a major part of the Nottingham Forest success. A major part. He's involved, you know, he plays in a position where you've got to get on the ball. You've got to make things happen. And he does that on a consistent basis. He should have been in that. I don't care what anybody says. So Thomas Tuchel should have found a way of getting him in. And if that means taking a goalkeeper out, you don't need 4 goalkeepers. Put him in the squad. He's thoroughly deserved it. If I was him, I'd be distraught because I don't see how he gets back in now. I don't see how he gets back in. We haven't got that long. You know, it's only next year, and you know it'll soon fly. This will.
Yeah, given Forest season, given his form as well, it's a remarkable omission.